They say that money can't buy you happiness, but the truth of the matter is, neither can being broke. So if I've got the choice of either, I think I'd rather have a little bit of money. In reality, at the end of the day, whether you have money or don't have money, regardless of what you make, really ends up being about how you think. Let's explore. I'm randomly going to select 100 of you to receive your own gold-plated coin. I used to carry around a gold coin kind of similar to this one right here. Not to spend, but because it reminded me of wealth. And it was a symbol for me of what was to come and what I could achieve financially. As a thank you for your support, I want to give you a little piece of motivation to remind you of what you can achieve and the results that you can get in life. So, when this channel hits 500 subscribers, I'm randomly going to select 100 of you to receive your own gold-plated coin. These coins are real currency from around the world that have been plated in 100 mils of fine gold. Now, this might not make you rich, but it just might give you enough inspiration, as sometimes just holding a little bit of wealth in your hands can make you feel a certain way and drive you to go out and achieve the best results. My hope is that you not only achieve all of your financial goals, but also that you then take that knowledge and go out and pass it back to the world. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, like this video, and you are automatically in the running. You know, ultimately, when it comes to money, people think, well, I'm going to make some money, I'm going to hang on to a little of it, and I'm going to be able to buy the things I want. I mean, why do we work? We want to work because, well, we like to spend. But at the end of the day, even people who seem to make a lot of money don't always have it. And that has to do with your money mindset. In other words, how you think about money really determines how much of it you have at the end of the day, the week, or even your life. What kind of financial situation are you in? This really boils down to how you think about money. Ultimately, we have two associations we can make about money and finances, and it does fall into two categories. It falls into scarcity. A scarcity mindset is where we kind of sort of breed fear. We're worried about money all the time. We feel a desperation, a desperate act that we have to find money, get money, keep money, hang on to money. And we're also focused on the lack when we're in a scarcity mindset. So we're focused on what we don't have. Where's the money? How can I get more money? How can I have more money or even earn more money? So that lack is really a mindset. The other category would be abundance. An abundance mindset is where we're forced to think about resourcefulness. How can we get more money and make more money and sort of reel it into our lives in a positive way? We're forced to think about opportunities, and we look for opportunities, and we're drawn to opportunities. We have a curiosity about how to make more money. And of course, we're focused on growth. How can we make money, hang on to it, and then maybe put it back to work out in the world? How can we get our money to grow? So really, there are these two mindsets. There's the scarcity mindset, where we're focused on lack, and there's the abundance mindset, where we are focused on the growth. Tony Robbins likes to say that everything we do kind of falls into two patterns, right? And it's very similar to these two mindsets. He says that everything we do is either to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. And these two mindsets sort of fall into that with money. Money is no different. See, if we're in scarcity mindset, we're trying to avoid the pain of not having money, being broke, not being able to pay our bills. That's very painful, and we need to avoid that. And we're thinking about this money, but using the scarcity mindset to do it. Or we're trying to gain pleasure, as he puts it, right? And that's the abundance mindset. If we had more money, what could we do? We could more easily pay our bills. We could relax. Maybe we could take a vacation. Maybe we don't have to worry about our retirement or future income. We'll have a little bit more money to deal with. So pain and pleasure really do come into play when we're thinking about this money mindset. How do we break the pattern? If if you are focused on scarcity, which most people are, how do we get out of that pattern? How do we break that pattern and get to an abundance mindset and strengthen that? Well, believe it or not, we do it through the power of words. I know a lot of people are thinking, what do you mean? I'm just going to talk myself into having more money or a better mindset about money. Words are more powerful than you actually think, and they can have a greater impact on us than sometimes we even believe without us knowing it. Years ago, I had a friend who worked for an insurance company and wasn't really fond of his job, but it was a job and he was, very good at it. And I guess he sold a lot of insurance policies. He went to work daily and kind of worked in his little cubicle and did his thing. And for the most part, the bosses liked him. Well, one day he needs to ask his boss if he can leave early. It's a Friday and he's got some plans with his wife and they have a reservation somewhere. And he just goes into his boss's office and says, hey, it's no big deal if I can't, but if I could leave a half hour early today, around 4:30, that would really be great. Do you think that would be all right? And the boss says, hey, no problem. Take off a little early today. 4:30 rolls around. He kind of cleans up his desk and he heads out to the parking garage at his insurance agency. Well, sure enough, it's the dead of winter and he goes to start his car and the car just does not start. So there he's sitting with what appears to be a dead battery, clicking away, and he can't get anywhere. So he gets out of the car. He's very frustrated and he looks around. No one's getting out of work yet. So he starts to walk around the parking lot to see if there's anyone there who could give him a jump. There's no one out there. It's freezing cold. He gets back in his car and dials for AAA. In the meantime, so much time goes by that everyone starts to get out of work. Now it's 5 o'clock or just after, and he sees some of the employees start to come out and arrive in the parking lot. However, he sees something very strange. A lot of these employees are actually carrying banker's boxes with all the stuff from their desk in it. So he gets out and he runs over to one of his friends and he says, what's going on? What's all this? And he says, you're not going to believe this, but they just had an end of day meeting and they spent the last 15 minutes of the day telling us that we were all leveled. We were all fired. Almost everyone on our floor has been let go. The company's not doing well and they're having cutbacks and we've all known this for a while and yada, yada, yada. And that's it. We're going to get some severance, but we were all let go today. And he's in absolute shock, my friend. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, I wasn't there for this. I missed all this. And now you're telling me that I've been fired and I've lost my job. His buddy gives him a jump and kind of gives him a little bit more of the details. And then he goes home. So my friend gets home and now he is so worked up. He's telling his wife he lost his job. He's been fired. They leveled the whole floor and he's in a tizzy. He does not want to go out for dinner. They do not make their reservation anyway because he's so late. And he spends the entire weekend getting himself so worked up, making calls, trying to find out what he's going to do. How are they going to pay their bills? They don't have enough money in savings. They have kids. They have a mortgage. He ends up working himself right into a hospital bed because he has an anxiety attack. He thinks he's having a stroke. And the wife takes him to the hospital and they're like, no, you're just having an anxiety attack, but you are very worked up. So obviously they give him something to calm him down and he goes home. And now he's focused on the fact that he has to go in and deal with this on Monday. He has to go in and face the music. Like how difficult and odd is that going to be and uncomfortable that he's going to have to walk in and face his bosses when he wasn't there to be fired on Friday. And he is not looking forward to this. So Monday comes around and he kisses his wife goodbye and I'm going to go to work and face the music and deal with this and we'll get through this. Walks into the office building, walks by his boss's office, goes to his cubicle, sits down. The floor is practically empty. There's half a dozen people left in his department. 9:05 comes. 9:10 comes. 9:15, the boss comes over to his cubicle with a small stack of paperwork and hands it to him. And he says, hey, John, I need this done, by noontime. And then he walks away. And at that point, John realizes that not only is he not fired, and he's one of the people that they're going to keep, he was worried all weekend for absolutely nothing. You see, someone said something to him, and he took it and internalized it. When they said, hey, they leveled our whole floor, we were all just fired. John didn't know that for sure because the boss told him he could leave early. And in retrospect, he said to me, when we discussed this whole situation, this whole fiasco, he said, if I'd really thought about it with like a clear head, if the boss intended to fire us, all of us, including me, he goes, he wouldn't have let me go early that day. He probably would have told me, no, today's not the day for you to leave early. Today we have things to talk about. But the fact that he let him go early means he wasn't included in the firing and he didn't need to be spoken to that day. It was clear as day to him after the fact, but when the words were first told to him, he was very motivated to work himself up in this negative way. You see, words have a lot of power, but they can affect us in a positive way or they can affect us in a negative way because of what we say to ourselves. It's not always what is said. So how do we create a better talk? How do we break this pattern and truly get in a better money mindset if you intend to make more money and do better in life? Well, I use mantras. I've always created mantras. A mantra is what? It's a phrase, something that you might say on a regular basis. Maybe something you say to yourself once in a while. Maybe something you read on a wall. Maybe you have it on a Post-it note and you glance at it every day. But it's just a series of words to sort of condition our mind, knowing that words are extremely powerful, but usually we're just telling ourselves the wrong phrases. So what have I said? Over the years, I've had several different mantras, but one of the mantras I used to say early on was every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. I mean, here I am trying to be a musician. So I was practicing and I was working and trying to save my money. And I was trying to just get better at all the things I was doing so I could have a more successful life. So that's kind of like a blanket one, right? Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And I would tell myself that maybe while I was out on a run, while I was working out, while I was practicing, or before an event, I would tell myself this. Financially, I have one that I still use today. Back in the day when we used to do a lot of sales and it involved cash, whenever I got some money into my, hot little fingers, I would actually hold it and look at it and I would say, this is money and I know and understand it and it comes to me easily and abundantly. So I would just take the money and hold it in my hands because maybe I just had a good payday. Maybe I just sold something for a lot of money. Maybe I was just paid for some event that I did and it was in cash and I'd actually be physically holding it and I would say, this is money. I know it and understand it and it comes to me easily and abundantly. That's a mantra. It's a phrase. It's a positive phrase that I would tell myself to strengthen something that I wanted to be even stronger. If I was in sales, well, let's take my friend in insurance sales, right? What might I say if I wanted to do better at that? I might say I am actively gaining more clients and making more money every single week through my marketing efforts, right? I would write that phrase down and say that as a mantra every single week. If I wanted to lose weight or be healthier, or I was working out to try and get healthier and maybe shed a few pounds, I might say my exercise program is causing me to lose 2 pounds a week in a healthy way. Right? So I create a mantra. You can have money mantras. You can say, I am making or earning more money and hitting my highest financial potential. That's a money mantra. Words are extremely powerful, but it's not just what we hear from the outside world. It's what we say, and we can control what we say. Remember, it's not what people say to us that matters. It's what we say to ourselves after people stop talking. My name is Daniel F. Margasa. You are watching the Almost Criminal Millionaire channel, and if you enjoy the topics of finance, money, and want to learn more about the health and wealth of your finances, then please like and subscribe for more.